In 2018, the world was rocked by the devastating case of Chris Watts, who murdered his pregnant wife and two young daughters. The heinous act sent shockwaves through the community and left many questions on how this tragedy could have happened. A seemingly happy family vanished without a trace. 34-year-old Shanann Watts, who was 15 weeks pregnant, and her two daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste, were reported missing by a friend. When police arrived at their home, they found no signs of a struggle or forced entry. However, it didn't take long before suspicion turned to Chris Watts, Shanann's husband.
How you guys doing?
Brother?
What's that?
Do you remember me?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
How you been?
Hi.
You Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. So what's going on?
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend.
All right.
And I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant. She wasn't feeling well, and she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9. And I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls, and
Shanann and Chris Lee Watts, both native of North Carolina, were married for 6 years with 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste. They purchased a 5-bedroom house in Frederick, Colorado. Chris was an operator for Anadarko Petroleum, while Shanann was an independent representative for a multi-level marketing company called Level. At the time of her death, she was 15 weeks pregnant. The couple seemed to have had a perfect marriage at first glance via social media.
she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9, and she didn't go to the doctor's appointment.
Okay. No answer on the phone. Husband's on his way.
Supposedly, but she said that 50 minutes ago, and I called her again and she said there's 45 minutes out. And I know the code to the door.
You do?
I do, but there's a very no, you know, even Chris, they have the thing flipped up here.
By the time Shanann surprised Chris about her 3rd pregnancy, he had already started dating a co-worker, Nicole Kessinger. Nicole was under the belief that Chris was in the process of getting divorced. Shanann noticed Chris becoming distant, so she spent most of the summer in North Carolina with relatives, while he spent more and more time with his new girlfriend. Shanann was not going to give up on Chris, so she desperately tried to salvage her marriage.
Guess when you want to, it happens.
Yeah, give me a get out.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that,
She would drive? Okay.
Shanann went on a business trip, and when she returned on the morning of August 13th, she and Chris got into a heated argument. Chris Watts decided to strangle her, killing Shanann and their unborn baby. The piece of shit went and smothered his 2 daughters while he was at it. For a man to kill his entire family with his bare hands is unthinkable. Why? How could he? These are questions only Chris has answers to. Answers that he will most certainly take to the grave. There will never be a reasonable explanation as to why he would kill his entire family, other than the fact that he was seeing another woman. At 1:48 a.m., a neighbor's security camera captured Shanann arriving home from her business trip. Chris Watts is seen on the same camera backing his truck up to the garage, then loading it at 5:27 a.m. Detectives concluded that Shanann, her 15-week-old baby, Celeste, and Bella were killed during this 3-hour window. Chris then drove to one of his job sites with their bodies. A realtor reaches out to Chris about what he and Shanann are looking for in a new home, and Chris carried on a conversation for a while about details. And at one point, the realtor questions Chris about why Shanann hasn't weighed in on the conversation. She hasn't really been around all day, Chris replied. Nicole Atkinson, a friend to Shanann, calls police when she can't reach her and finds out that she missed her doctor's appointment.
not moving out. I mean, the last time I talked to her was this morning. She said she was going to take the kids to a friend's house, and she asked where she was going to be. And then I've texted her today and never heard anything. But the car's here. Cars are here. Unless somebody came and picked her up. But the people that
The following day, Chris Watts appears on Denver 7 to talk about his wife's disappearance.
Right now, you got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere.
Do you think she just took off? Do you think?
I mean, right now I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids.
Then, 2 days after he murdered his family, after failing a polygraph and pressure from detectives, he came up with some horseshit lie about Shanann killing his daughters. When he lost his cool over it, he then killed her.
She hurt him, yeah. And well, no, that's not her. You're her.
Detectives call bullshit and find out about his affair with Nicole Kessinger. Chris Watts finally comes clean, describing in detail how he murdered his entire family one at a time. Chris Watts was fired by his employer on August 15th, the day of his arrest. The authorities located the bodies of the Watts family on the oil storage site. On August 21st, Watts was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and 3 counts of tampering with a deceased human body. Chris Watts pleaded guilty to the murders on November 6, 2018. The death penalty was not put forward by the district attorney on the request of Shanann's family, who did not wish for any further deaths. They were supportive of his decision to accept the plea deal. On November 19th, he was sentenced to 5 life sentences, 3 consecutive and 2 concurrent, without the possibility of parole. He received an additional 48 years for the unlawful termination of Shannon's pregnancy, and 36 years for 3 charges of tampering with a deceased body. His sentence began immediately. On December 3rd of 2018, Watts was moved to an out-of-state location due to security concerns. On December 5th, he arrived at the Dodge Correctional Institution, a maximum security prison in Waupun, Wisconsin, to continue serving out his life sentences.